Hello everyone, Krista Cease here, and today we're going to be working on connecting what happens in our body when we walk, like in everyday life, with what happens when we're walking in tango and when we're doing ochos. So all these three are not that much different. On the contrary, they're quite similar. And maybe you've heard that before, but it was never quite explained clearly as to what that means. And yes, we might be carrying some bad habits. Everyone has bad habits that might not allow us to feel how those three things are quite the same, or quite similar. So this is an opportunity in this video. This video is an opportunity. Sorry, this video is an opportunity not only to make your tango a little bit more efficient, more smooth, more graceful, without tension and without wasting energy, but also it is a great opportunity for you to notice if there are any bad habits in your everyday type of everyday life. If there is any unnecessary tension, unnecessary waste of energy that you have, and that can easily change with a minor possibly adjustment in how you do stuff. So hopefully with this video we'll be able to inform not only our tango but also make the rest of our life a little bit easier. So I hope you will enjoy it, and send me your questions, any trouble that you might be having. I've got a very interesting question this last week, and I'm exploring the different videos that we can come up with. So you'll see that coming up in the next couple of weeks. So send in your questions because they can generate great videos that not only will answer your question, but they can be very, very helpful for other people out there. So talk to you soon. Enjoy. One of the important elements of our walk is that swing through of the free leg before it reaches forward into the step. So I would like to encourage you to start with this exercise. Swing as many times as you like, but feel that the free leg is taking you forward into that step. So you can see how I am ready. I know the time of the step. I am prepared for that step that is going to come. And then, of course, you reverse. You do the same thing at the back. And you'll notice how your body responds to accommodate for for this movement. It gently relax your arms so they can gently swing and help you with balance. And then when the leg is ready to take that step, your body changes slightly its position in order to be able to make that step. If I change angles so you can see me a little bit better, you will see why the arms swing. You'll see that the hips are not exactly square. They're swinging, they're turning gently. You can see, if you see the button of my pants, you can see how it changes position because the leg swings forward, takes the hips forward and back. And so there's a little bit of the twist, and there's a little bit of an up and down, and there's a little bit of a wave in the hips as well. So we want to be conscious of these. You can see there we go. You can see the twist here. You want to be conscious of all these movements without exaggerating them. So, of course, you're not swinging your legs like this when you're walking, but if you take it down to a minimum, that's what happens when your leg passes, right? In order to take that next step. You don't lift the foot off the floor. There's no need to do that. But the swing is there. It is needed for that next step to happen. So as we said, there is a twist. So let's explore that twist a little bit more. Start with swinging your arms very, very loosely. Feel as if you have that feeling of being tired, but you have one more thing to do. So you can't sit down. That feeling of heaviness, when you're tired, but there's still a few things to do. And then you start swinging the arms and you let that come into your body. And then you'll start to notice that the hips are starting to come in, and gently you can play with a speed. You can speed up like I'm doing here. But remember, you have to find the right moment to speed up. It has to come through relaxation. The more you relax the arms, the more you'll be able to speed this up like I'm doing here, nice and gently. So don't go straight for the faster version. Just give yourself some time so you can build up, and you don't have to go there if you don't want to, because we are examining something completely different. We're not examining speed. And then you do the same exercise starting from the hips. So I'm starting to move my hips, and I'm trying to notice what that creates, what that decision creates as a movement in the rest of the body. So as you'll see, it makes my chest twist as well, and my arms. And if I let completely go, my arms are going to do this weird kind of figure eight type of motion. And yeah, it might not look all that great, but it doesn't really matter, because we are looking at that connection. Here too, if you want speed, you need to relax more. So we exaggerated. Now we're going to tone things down. And you're going to go for a very small movement, just shifting the weight from one foot to the other, lifting the free foot off the floor and finding your balance. And you will see that there is a tiny little twist there. You can see it in my free foot, how it kicks forward. And the opposite shoulder kicks forward as well. So there's a tiny crisscross happening, so you can keep your balance. We went from something super big twists, powerful twists, and now to something very small, tiny, that we do it all the time. You can close your eyes as well and feel how this is happening in your body. Don't rush, and just feel how all this changes your position and your understanding of your base and your breath and all these stuff. So now if we repeat the first exercise with a very conscious mind on what is happening, try to notice the tiny twists that happen when you swing your leg forward and back. And then when you take a step, notice that you're not square, but there's a little bit of a twist. Don't force it, just notice. Maybe swing forward and back a little bit. See how that change from 2 feet to 1 foot balance changes your body position, exactly the same way we did just before when we were switching the weight between the 2 feet. And then, of course, you switch over and you start with your swing again. So when we first did this exercise, we were just getting the motion you were just getting a taste of that movement. But now we're coming in with a conscious mind, and we're looking for specific cues. We're looking for how our leg moves inside our hips, how our hips move around our legs, how our hips move in relation to our torso, and how all these relationships change and form our movement. And what information do we need from these exercises to make our movement more efficient and more graceful without wasted energy? Of course, when we're done, we're going to reverse and go into back steps. Back steps can be tough or maybe a little bit tougher because we don't really do them on our everyday life. We don't usually walk backwards, but try to use your forward steps to inform your mind for what's coming. Meaning it's exactly the same action, only in reverse. So sometimes a little bit of a pep talk is it's quite good. It helps, or at least it helps me. I actually tell myself this is exactly the same, only backwards. So when you're going back, it's exactly the same, and biomechanically it is exactly the same. So it's exactly the same like you did before, only backwards. And interestingly enough, the mind uh, settles with that idea instead of saying, no, 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 this is completely different. So maybe, I don't know, you might find it funny saying that to yourself, but sometimes it does help me at least. From all this, you can imagine we have been creating a path for the ochos, right? Um, so we're not talking about a position that is a stuck position. We're talking about a position that is changing and it's building up from the step. You can see how I'm building it up here. In our previous exercise, we would stop here, right at the step. We wouldn't turn more like I'm doing here for the pivot. So let's see it again. We would start from our swing. The twist is already there. So this is how we connect the forward steps with the ochos. We step. So this is just your step. You're already twisting. The only thing that you need to do for a pivot is twist a little bit more. And the best time to do that is as you collect the free leg, because of that wave that we were talking about that the hips are doing. They want to go in that direction. And the position of the spine is also the spine is in a great position when we are swinging through. So it is a good time to add that twist. So practice with that. So you're starting from here, a little bit of a twist in the upper body. As the free leg comes in, you give yourself a little bit more. Pass from that position many times. Let your body and your mind explore this transition. And then when you're ready, you're going to give yourself the pivot. So as the free leg comes in, you twist and you pivot. But that twist is already built into your walks. So that's where I want to end up. That's what I want to pinpoint here. That the twist is not something special that we do for the ochos. The twist is built inside the walk, inside our everyday type of walk. The only thing that we do for the ochos is give yourself the direction for the pivot, because you need to know how much you need to pivot. That comes from the upper body. And the best time to do that is when you collect the free leg. The spine is gently curved, so you can actually twist a little bit more. And there is space for a little bit of extension at the end. Plus, there is power in that free leg. There is movement, gentle movement in the hip. All that is a great preparation for a pivot. And that's why we're using this moment to give ourselves a little bit, that little extra twist as an indication of how much we're going to be turning. The same rules apply, of course, in our back ochos. Again, coming from back steps, they are a little bit tougher because we don't usually walk backwards, but same rules apply. As your free leg comes in, you give yourself the twist. Again, if it helps you, tell your mind it is exactly the same, only backwards. There. So as that free leg comes in, it is easy. It is the perfect timing for the lead. Like imagine you have a leader here, and the leader will be directing the pivot, right? Telling you how big the pivot is. So imagine you have a leader there. They are holding your two hands. As you collect the foot, you turn your body. You lead the pivot. You tell your feet how much you want to turn. And this is why this is very important for leaders to practice like this, because you have an understanding there in your body of how much of a turn of a lead follower needs for this type of pivot.